Hello everybody, my name is Aceface. Welcome back to the T0 to T6 Abyss series. I'm on my main account and there's a particular reason why I'm going to be doing it. It's not like anything special, I just wanted to gift a skin to my T0 to T6 Abyss character to signify that we are starting to acquire some competence with our Retribution right here. So we're going to get a Retribution Oasis of Faith skin for my alt who's going to be piloting that Retribution to Oblivion. I'm going to gift this item like that. Buy gift. Alright. So now he's received his skin. We're in various still a cartography right here. Let's claim this skin. Can equip this. I'm going to try to do 3 Abyss sites in a really rapid succession right here. I've already got my clone switched out because I'm in various still a cartography. They're really cool. Free clone based station, and we're going to warp to the safe, and there's actually something where we got that we can actually do right here to give us a little bit better DPS. Namely, I just got a login reward that gives me 150,000 skill points. You know how you've got this like every 30 days you get 150,000 skill points? Well, today was the day I got 150,000 skill points. So if we look here, go to our trading queue, let's just create a fleet right there. We've got 150,000 skill points, which we can add on some of these skills right here. So I'm going to add on this rapid firing and get some nice extra DPS. And we save a bit of time from the surgical strike right here. So it's now 16 hours and I get surgical strike level 4. So I'm going to be getting some decent DPS right there. Let's see now. 262 DPS. Oh, and multi-frequency. So, I mean, we're almost there at 300 DPS mark. Quite cool, quite cool. Let's go to Abyssal Trace. Get in there. Get in there. Do this fast. Really fast. Lucid Watchman, MWD on. And Aurora. And just start shooting straight away. There's the loot, there's the loot. We can give a little bit of a tap on this loot right here. Pop. Then we put a standard in here. We start shooting. I was unsure if I was going to use standard or multi-frequency. Now it would be better that I use multi-frequency, but he was a little bit further range initially, so that's why I opted in for multi-frequency. Let's go for this. 1.8 million. I'm going to stagger the reps a bit better, like that, just to get a bit more even repping power. Otherwise we'll over-rep way too much. Okay, keep it range. I'm blasting to pieces. Simple as that, simple as that. Yeah, this Retribution is just absolutely obliterating these T1 sites. No issue whatsoever. Super easy. The beams just have so good damage projection that you're just hitting all the time, doing so much damage all the time. And we're getting more and more damage. The more sites we do, the every day goes by. We'll make a slow but steady progression to getting our ship's capabilities to be even more perfect. And in due time, we'll eventually get that Zealot. Now the Zealot right here, Thermal Hardener. This is the one I'm probably going to go for initially for doing T3s. Just to be on the safe side, I put a Thermal Hardener. I don't think I need this Thermal Hardener for T3s, but just for the safety, I'm just putting the Thermal Hardener. So this is what we're going to be going with initially, 380 million. It's a bit of ISK required, a lot of skills as well. So, I mean, it's alright that it takes a bit of ISK because by the time we've got everything trained, we're going to be already carrying that cash, that amount of cash. Hopefully we can get some rare drops from the T1 sites. You never know, you can get sometimes those unstable mutaplasmids. Potentially getting the good loot. Okay, lock up that biocommittive cache. Land some volleys. And then we'll land some volleys as well into these rogue drones right here. Which will hopefully speed up the progress a little bit. This is where really I'd love to have the pulses. I could just blast this rogue drone battleship to death because he's going to take so long to get through. Really a long time. So much EHP. This is the guy who has the most amount of EHP out of any entity in the T1 Abyss. Go here. And multi-frequency and orbit at 7,500 at a bit of a reduced speed to increase our applicability, even though he's a massive potato sitting in space. It's always good to have a little bit better application when you can help it. Not go too far, so just zip it to all over the place. In the meantime, while we get this done, we can do product discovery right here. And some extra little side ISK. It's hardly anything now compared to the T1s, because before, when I was doing T0s, it was quite, like, my time was not worth as much as it is when I'm doing the T0s. So then it was the time I spent, or little extra time to do the sites a tiny bit slower. It was worth it to do this product discovery. But now it's I'm starting to get doubtful how much the actual worth of it is right here, because you get quite a bit less ISK than compared to the Abyss site. So I just focus on doing the Abyss site as quick as possible, really. A lot more like focus is able to be put here, because I feel like even though I'm doing, like, if I'm doing these at the same time as the Abyss site, potentially slightly less than the Abyss site, makes it go a tiny bit slower. In T0 it's so brain dead that you hardly have to pay any attention to it, but in the T1s it gets a tiny bit more difficult. Even though it's very easy, it's still slightly difficult, or at least there's a significant increase in the difficulty compared to the T0. But when it comes to these waves, like this Rogue Drone Battleship over here, he's just chilling here. We're just orbiting and blobbing away. Let's see, where's the time? Almost 5 minutes. Yeah, because this is the wave that takes the longest time in the T0s or T1s. Oh, I wish the Purifier or any kind of stealth bomber is perfect for these waves. Just perfect application. 700 DPS with the rage torpedoes. Absolutely amazing. Double, triple the amount of DPS as we've got right now. Unfortunately, we don't get that luxury. With pulses, we can quite easily, with just get a few more skills, we can get 400 DPS. So then it'll still go quite a bit quicker than what we're doing right now. And it shouldn't be too bad. I mean, I really am considering that pulses might be an alternative, because the DPS increase might be quite a good option for us, and tracking is also really great. So tiny little frigate waves which will just beam them down instantly. Okay, come on now. He's almost dead. Yep. There we go. We can just exit this right here. Okay, let's go to the buy committed cache. Lucid Escort. Aurora. Do a little bit of volleys right there. Didn't get full damage. If we had full damage, we would have. I think we would have volleyed that, because it's got a little bit over 300 volley, and I think the HP of this commutative cache is 300 HP. Okay, go with a bit of short range ammo. Approach. We actually keep it range just to keep transversal at a bit of a better level. Yep, getting wrecked. These guys are getting wrecked so easy. The fitting is a bit of a problem with our the pulses. That's also one reason why I'm not going for them. But I want to train at least when I'm going to consider using pulses seriously, then I want to have trained like most of these skills right here, these support skills, because then my range will be somewhat decent in the pulses. Otherwise, it'll be just we have such a short range that it'll feel almost like, I feel like it'll be a waste of time. Let's go for the loot right there. You know, something I'm going to do is I'm going to alter the fit slightly. I'm going to remove this small cap battery. The reason is, like, I don't need this cap battery right here. I've trained a capacitor systems operation skill that gives my capacitor a significant increase, actually. So if we just open this up right here, remove this, do PB, small PB. We have minus 91%. That means we're still going to be cap stable in the electrical abyss, because as long as it's above minus 100%, then it's alright. So that's actually an option we can do, just to make our ship a little bit cheaper. I mean, it's not really going to change our performance at all. We're hardly getting used to it at all in the T1 abyss. It's just going to be a little bit of a lower risk in case we were to somehow die. We'll have a cheaper fit. It's always nice to have that little sense of relief or less stress. This module right here is the single most expensive module on our ship. It costs like 14 million ISK. Let's see, now calm electric. Can activate it soon. Activate filament. Let's jump in. MWD on. Oh, we've got some Kikimoras over here. Can use a bit of a tap on this. Buy a commutative cache. Go for this guy right here. Keep it range. Give it a standard volleys in right there. Yeah, multi-frequency now. And he'll go down very quickly. This guy is really important to take out. He does a lot of damage if he spools up. Initially, it'll seem like, oh, this guy is hardly doing any damage. You'll see when he starts spooling up his damage. He starts doing damage a bit. His damage increases over time. It's going to be crazy. He will do a lot of damage. So just watch out for the Kikimoras. don't underestimate them, because I have used worms in the abyss, and I was just like, oh, no, whatever, I'm gonna go for this Damovic first. And then this guy had already managed to spool up to quite a big degree on his damage. He was doing so much damage. It's no joke what the tricky larvae can pull off, especially the Kikimoras, because they're like known for having so high DPS numbers when they're spooled up. So always take out those Kikimoras first. There we go. Can actually approach the Dama right here, just to get some shots in. Okay, next room. What time was that? 1 minute, 10 seconds. Easy peasy. Go with Aurora first. It's always nice to have that ammunition, so you can just get a little tap in the bicament of cash, and maybe some little frigates there in range. Next room, next room. Come on, come on. Gonna do this super fast. And we've got the bicament of cash over there, and a bunch of rogue drone ships. Shoot. Press F1. I was not. My keyboard is actually quite old. You know, I have a keyboard that's worth $5. That is how cheap my keyboard is. My father bought it for me as a present. Just because I had this really crappy keyboard that was like, I had many keys missing. He's just like, oh, okay, I'm gonna buy you this keyboard right here. And even though it was really cheap, it's actually a really great keyboard. It was so cheap, but it's like one of these typical office keyboards, but it feels so nice. Like, it's got really nice keys. So it was like, I was really happy about that, because at my school at the time, he bought for me, what was it now? 2011, yeah, 2011, that's when it was. In my school at the time, we had this in our libraries, and I was just like, oh, I love the feeling of those keyboards there. I always like to type on those computers in the libraries because they felt really great. So he just bought the same one as there. It's been lasting so long, 2011, yeah. So over 10 years, it's still working, but I can see it's getting to the end of its lifespan. Sometimes keys decide to not function when I press them, but it's still alright. I just have to press a little bit firmly, like the F1 key. I have to just press it a bit firmly to be able to hit. It's also, I sort of keep it out of principle. I could easily just buy a new keyboard, but I just love it. It's a bit of a memory as well. Memory of how cheap that keyboard was and how good it was. I love it. It's an HP type of keyboard. I don't know what model it's called. Okay, we'll go to this bicament of cash. He doesn't want to see it be in range, so we're going to go with Aurora. Grab this. He seems to be wanting to keep it sweet range. I don't know why he's not approaching, because he's got 1.4k second speed. He should be able to approach us pretty quickly. Okay, next room, next room. We're at the 4-minute mark soon, approaching the 4-minute mark. Sitting on 7 million ISK. Decent, decent. The goal is 380 million for the Zealot. 380 million. It's quite a long road, but eventually we'll get there. When we start doing the T3s, we can get a bit of a step up in terms of ISK making compared to the T1s right here. And then we also have the potential to get some really great like drops. I find that the drops are a lot better in the T3 than T1s, especially the T4, but we'll start with T1s. So we'll be getting some good drops. Eventually, we're going to be getting enough skills to do the T4s. When we get T4s, that's when the serious ISK comes in. That's when the serious ISK comes in, because then we can get T5 and T6 filaments relatively easily. And then we're going to be raining in ISK. Unfortunately, the T4 filaments, the electrics, they're quite expensive, so it will cut into our profits a lot. The T3 filaments, they're not that expensive. They cost like 1 million. So I mean, you see a big jump up to T4. I think T4 last time I checked is 7 million or something like that. Like 7 times the price. Next filament is quite crazy right there. But oh, we're grazing shots. We need to speed down, chill a little bit on our speed, or a bit closer maybe. Or is it optimal? Oh, 14 kilometers. That's why. Yeah, that's why we're not hitting grazing shots all the time. Increase speed maybe. Why is he keeping his sweet range? Maybe he's still 1.2k. My ship doesn't seem to be able to keep at the proper range. Okay, now we got some good hits. Good. If we were using pulses, I'd just get him really close into orbit really quickly. We have so good tracking, I wouldn't really have to worry about missing shots, but I have to take a bit into consideration our transversal with beams to get optimal hits. Otherwise, you can sometimes get some grazing shots to provide suboptimal damage. Okay, next room, which is the last one into the outer space of Jita. No, it was perimeter we're running in. Hopefully no pirates out there to get us. Calm, electrical. Oh, we've got some calm electrics here from the sites. So you've got some nice amount of filaments right there. But we'll just run one more. I have to make some tweaks to my ship after that. If you guys who are watching this have done T1 sites, what's the best drop you've ever got from a T1? I'm quite curious. One of the best ones I've recently got, I think I might have got something better, but one of the best I've recently got was a T4 gamma filament, because it's what I think 12 million is, because they're very optimally done in like basic passive healers that require don't so much, like not hardly any input, or it's like very easy to run. So that's the best drop I think I've got, at least recently, a T4 gamma, because T4 filaments are quite unheard of in the T1s. But I don't know, have any of you guys got even better drops than that? What's the best drop you've ever got in a T1 filament? Quite curious what we can look forward to. I don't think you can get those specialization skill books as far as I understand. Oh, there's one of these extraction nodes right here. Okay, pop this please. There we go. We can grab this loot right here. Aurora, get a nice little volley right here. 600k, a little extra, you know, a little extra on the side. And then we go here. Imperial multi-frequency. Keep at range and blast into pieces. We can actually manual pilot since we've got this asteroid in the way, causing a little bit of complications. Hold down Q, move up a little bit. Yeah, there we go. This is the great thing about pulses. We're just able to just keep a little bit of range and still do damage. If I mean, not pulses, beams. If I was using pulses, it would be a different story. I'd have to get really close, and might be a bit annoying when you've got the asteroid in the vicinity. Let's get this. Oh, there's Tachyon clan. Be a little bit careful. Oh, we've not used armor repair. It's always good to use those. It's always good to use those. Use the pulse laser, no, the beam laser, not pulse laser. I keep mixing up words nowadays. I mix up words all the time. I hope I'm not developing Alzheimer's or something. A lot of university work has been putting quite a bit of toll on my brain. So I feel like I get slightly muddled up in my thoughts a little bit more these last few days than usual. I think I maybe need to sleep a bit better as well. But I've been trying to improve the sleep pattern. It's always good to have good sleep. It makes the day just so much more pleasant. Having bad sleep really just puts the day, like puts the whole, like a filter of grey on my day. Okay, next room. Let's see, what do we get in the next wave right here? Is this the second one or the second one? Yeah, striking Leshak, easy wave. Easy, easy. We need to approach this striking guy over here, because he's going to go down super fast. This guy, if he's starving, be a little bit careful, because he can just wipe your capacitor. Just literally just wipe it. From 100 to 0, just wipe it out off the grid. But you've got really good recharge in electrical sites, so you should be alright, at least when you get in like a range. If you see a starving guy, try orbiting like close. I'm just talking maybe 10 kilometers or something like that, just so you can completely avoid his shots, but then you can get recharge of your capacitor to be able to use a rep or something, just so that you can survive and also shoot, because you need capacitor always to shoot your weapons too. Go to transfer conduit. And go Aurora. Aurora, I think, is the best to start out with. You can get those volleys on the loot, etc. Origin conduit, just a bunch of rogue drones, it's alright. What have we got here? It's 45 kilometers away, so soon we'll be able to shoot. A volley right there. Good. Standard. Shoot right there. Are rogue drones primarily shield based or armor based? I'm not sure. I think they are like equal. I think some NPCs, they can be a little bit more towards the equal side. I think the angels have got like a predominantly like a dominant tank type, but it's not like, it's usually quite equal, I see. Unlike Amar, for example, who just have fully armor, hardly any shields. It's a bit contrast to Kaldari, who have pretty much only shields and no armor. But I think the rogue drone is a little bit of a mixed bunch. They have a little bit whatever they feel like having. Use the multi-frequency over there. Let me go a little bit here to this side. This Dragonback blueprint is nice to see, because I think it actually can sell for a couple of million. It's always good to see you get a little bit of extra ISK like that. We'll check when we go to Jita. I wonder how much it's worth, because I remember when I started out with the Abyss stuff, or when I started out in the Drekamax release, because they weren't the first ships to be released in the with the whole Abyss update. They actually went for a pretty penny. They went for like I think it was 30 million or something like that. Then they went obviously down in price as more people farm the sites. Let's see now, lowest one. Oh wait, it's auction. Okay, auction. Domain G2. Okay, so 3.9 million, so we can maybe undercut like 3.5 million or something like that. Yeah, 3.5 million ISK, so it's nice to see a little bit extra tick right there, a little bit extra tick on top of our 11 million ISK we've got right here in the bank. 1/5 of our retribution basically is what we've got right here. Insta dock. You can check here what we need to train to be able to use the pulse one. Turbo, cheap turbo. If we go with a 5MN, go with like a compact. We're still cap stable. We just need a few more fitting skills to be able to fit everything in right here. And this reactive armor hardener is consuming so much capacitor. 50% of our capacitor is going to that basically. Now we can ease that with the resistance phasing skill. Resistance phasing, yeah, we should buy this actually. We should buy some skills actually, it would be a good idea to do that. Check on market, usually it's a bit cheaper, yeah. Buy please. Inject skill. Okay. We can grab our filaments right here. And various loot. Stack it. And sell. And keep those calm electrics in our cargo hold. Okay, 10 million right there. Put this in the junk. Create a contract here for 3.5 million. I receive 3.5 million. There's some skills we can train to get contracting up, but it's not like we're really required to have so many contracts right now. Okay, but we can train a couple of these skills, you know. These could be good to have. Maybe put it above surgical strike, since this is a very good skill to have. So this will be nice to get a bit of extra. It's going to reduce a bit the capacitor, I think, usage of the reactive armor hardener. And then a slight cheapening of our fit right here is going to be a small PvP cam battery. Have we got it in here? No, okay. We'll buy it from the store. Small PvP. Dirt cheap cam battery, but we don't need to go with the Republic fleet right now. Alright, let's go back to Bella Estera cartography. We can check the prices of the skills for the Zealot, because it could be good to get the skill books at least. Skill books, so V2 for thermal hardener. First we can actually check the turbo one, the pulse one. Cheap turbo. Pulse laser specialization. 2 million. Can buy this. And then a Zealot skill right here. With thermal hardener. 14 skills. Oof. 66 million. Oh, wow, that's a lot of skills. Well, I guess we can't buy that right now. Bunch of Armad drone specialization skills as well, I think. We'll get the small pulse laser at least. That could be good to have for the future if we decide to go for the pulse laser Retribution. How much DPS does our character do with a pulse laser Retribution? Turbo. Cheap turbo. Conflag. 340 DPS, okay. So the goal for this would be then to hit 400 DPS. And that would be the goal. Then here it would be to, with multi-frequency, hit 300 DPS. I think it'll be quite difficult to get these really high DPS numbers since we've got Assault Frigates trained to level 4. Trained to level 5 could be an option, but I don't think it's worth it in the grand scheme of things because it takes 13 days to train to Assault Frigates level 5. And level 5 is like, it's going to give a bit of benefits that are going to be good, but I feel like we may as well just train towards the Zealot instead and train support skills that can affect both our Retribution and our Zealot in the future, like the, you know, like these surgical strike skills I'm training right here, resistance phasing, etc, etc. Let's go here into, oh, there's some red thrashers right there, probably out to kill clones, kill pods. We need to be a little bit observant of our surroundings. Alright, I just switched out my clone. That's enough for now. Let's just check our net worth before we end here. 125 million. Okay, so our net worth is going up pretty steadily. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.